Gina, and I am a practitioner from Concordia Centers for Spiritual Living in Rhode Island. And I am so grateful to be here with you today. And I'm on a prayer team here at New Thought Media Network, and I'm thrilled to be a part of that. I'm a life coach and have been doing that for, at this point, it's over a decade. And I've been doing all kinds of workshops and trainings and speaking for over 25 years. And I'm here today to talk to you about the joy is in the journey. That is the topic of the show. And the reason for that is because I believe that's the purpose of life. It is about enjoying every step of the way. It's not a destination. So I invite you today, as we talk about joy is the topic, and I'm going to be talking about the 10 steps on your journey to happiness. This is actually one of my books, and it is a 10-step guide to get to the life that you choose. Trade your worries and regrets for your happily ever after. And that's actually available through Amazon, or you can reach out to me for that as well. But this is a 10-step guide to help people get to that place of joy and to get back to it. Because so often, people will say, well, lighten up. Well, if we knew how to do that, we would. It's that simple. If we already knew that, then we wouldn't be unhappy. It's not what anybody wants to live in. So it's a choice to re-engage in life in a new way. And it's doing something different. And what does that look like? And how do I begin? Well, at any given point, sometimes we fall off the rails. Whether we hit the rumble strip or whether we completely spin out. Sometimes we do. We just fall off the rails and need to get back on. Well, these 10 steps, you can come back at any given point from wherever you were to wherever you choose to be. So I invite you to hopefully grab a notebook, and hopefully you're going to get something that is going to help you to be on your path of joy. Because remember, it is your path. Now, we are live, and I would love any questions or comments. Please let me know. Where are you from? Where are you right now? Where are you watching? Where are you experiencing the joys in the journey? And just in that title, I want you to remember that it is the journey, not the destination. Far too many of us practice that destination happiness. It's that place of, well, when I get past this, then I'll be okay. When you're a student, it's when exams are over, then I'll be okay. When you're looking for that perfect mate, well, when I find that person, then I'll be okay. If it's financial troubles, well, once I get through this, then I'll be okay. Or it eventually gets to when I retire. We don't want to live in the what ifs, the when I get to's. The joy is right here and right now. Happiness and joy are two different things in the sense of something happy, it can be transient. Joy is always within you. So it's about getting to that place within you of not just being happy, but staying there, recognizing that divine attribute within you. So when I wrote this book, the purpose of this book and how it came to be was my sister actually it was probably the lowest moment of my life when my sister had been diagnosed stage 4 lung cancer, and my dad was also diagnosed with stage 4, and it was only a few weeks apart. I was living in Rhode Island, my sister was in New Hampshire, and my dad was in Massachusetts, and I was traveling to and from all the different states to take care of my nephews, and life was awful in a way that I had never experienced it. And one thing that I realized is there were moments that I was still happy. I'd catch myself laughing and I'd feel guilty. I thought, how could I possibly feel good in any given moment with all that's going on in my life? And I realized if I could laugh or feel joy in any way at the darkest time in my life, then it was always accessible. It's when I realized it was within me. It wasn't something that I had to seek out and find. It wasn't something that someone else could give me. It was something that was there and I had to realize. And that at any given point, it would help me cope with life in a better way. So I chose from that experience, that was how I started this book. And I decided that if it was there in the worst of times, if I could access it, then I could then access it all of the time. And that was what I chose to do, to live and help others live in that joyous way. So in the 10-step guide, there's a lot more information than just the steps, but it's the how-to of. So the first one is start where you are. As a life coach, the first question I ask people is, who are you? Who are you? Not your role in life. So I don't want to know if you're somebody's mom, dad, brother, sister. I don't need to know what you do for a living. I want to know, who are you? What's important to you? What is your characteristics? What are your likes, your dislikes? What would your best friends say about you? That's who you are. So it's getting to that point of living in the awareness of, what are your gifts? What do you love to do? What brings you joy? Who are you really? And that is something that a lot of people don't look at. We believe what other people say. Sometimes there's negative self-talk in our mind, whether it was planted there by other people or whether it was something that we just found on our own. That negative talk is never going to be in any way positive. So I'll ask you, who are you? When I ask you that question, what comes up? Who are you really? So in that beginning is just starting where you are, understanding and recognizing yourself. Because I believe fully that you cannot have a happy ending to an unhappy story. At some point, something has to change. So it's one of those things I'm wearing the shirt grateful today. Gratitude is the fastest way to happiness. I truly believe that. Plus, thoughts are things. So when I'm grateful, I'm attracting more to be grateful for. So if you're wondering, who am I really? What are you grateful for? What do you appreciate? What do you recognize in your life? And those are those opportunity. Who am I really? And it's not what other people say. It's not what you used to believe. You are a divine child of that infinite creator. You are fabulous. You are amazing. Do you know that? Do you recognize that? Do you think that is your ego saying that, oh, that's not humble enough? It's who you truly are. Your magnificence is there, not showing it. If anything, that's where things can get, that's where we take that step back. So it's recognizing yourself and living consciously, which means that life isn't happening to you. It's happening through you. We're not a victim to circumstance. As a child, things may have happened that weren't the things that you would have chosen. But the truth is you're an adult now. Or most of us watching this are in that place of being able to make conscious choices. You are a conscious creator, no longer needing to be a victim to anything. So what are you making out of this day? What are you creating in your life? And that's where we start, is realizing you deserve to be happy. You deserve all the things you've wanted to do. You deserve that. You can choose right here, right now, to enjoy your life in a greater way. And what does that look like? Well, it starts with, I always ask, are you shining? Are you happy? Are you shining? And it's not in a way of saying, it's not in that, oh, yes, I'm blessed and I know that. I'm not saying it in that sense. And I'm not saying it's not about gratitude. It's not just about, but are you shining? Is that part of you, when people see you, do they see divine? Do they see that magnificence? Do they know that part of you that is, where spirit shows up? So I'm looking for a quote at the moment. My favorite quote, actually, is from Marianne Williamson. And right under the beginning of step 2 is, I have this quote. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine as children do. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It is not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. So as I let go of the lesser and reach for the greater, I am teaching other people to do the same. I am allowing other people their own magnificence, their own journey to be different. I'm encouraging people by what I accomplish. It's not about being selfish in the sense of, well, I'm that important, but you are that important. The breath of divine is within you. What are you doing with it? Are you shining? And when I say shining, you know, when I look at people and you can see a light in their eyes. When they are in joy, and I have never seen someone that had that light that wasn't spiritually connected in some way. That spiritual aspect of us is that light from the inside out. That is that spark of divine. Are you shining? Well, you deserve to be. And if you're not, that's where you say, okay, well, now what? You know, there are three selves. That's what I call them. The three selves that are the most important things. That if we don't have them, it shows in everything that we do, or at least we feel it in everything that we do. The first one is self-esteem. Now, people will only treat us as, if we're lucky, as good as we treat ourselves and as good as we allow them to treat us. Self-esteem is knowing your worth. You know, if you're at a job that you know you deserve better than, why are you waiting? Why are you there? Why are you allowing yourself to limit yourself? Now, there's a lot of people that there's a comfort zone and, you know, well, what am I supposed to do? And yeah, I have a family. And it's not to say that you jump up and you leave right now, but you have the opportunity to grow into whatever it is that you choose. So I encourage you to be in that place. Self-esteem is not settling for anything but the best of what you choose. It doesn't mean that you're not grateful for what you have, but why don't you deserve the best there is? Why wouldn't Spirit want that for you? As a parent, we want the best for our children. We would give anything we could to make them happy or to make sure they had what they need. But at the end of the day, as adults, it's up to them to do that for themselves. Because if we haven't taught them how, that's our job, is to teach them how to be fulfilled. Not just to have a lot of stuff and have a full life, but to be fulfilled. Well, self-esteem is taking care of yourself. And part of that is it's care, self-care. What does that look like? Are you modeling that to the children in your life? Are you showing that you are worthy? Your body is the temple that hosts divine. How do you honor that? What is it that you do? And I'm asking, what do you do to honor yourself in self-care? Please tell me in the comments. Let me know, what is it that you do to bring that divine light out? Maybe it's bubble baths with a really good book. Maybe it's taking a nap. Maybe it's listening to music. I love music. It can get me out of any negative space and into a positive one. Music for me is very healing and soothing. Maybe it's meditation. Self-care can be sitting at home with your cat on your lap taking a nap. It can be all kinds of things. Self-care can also be saying, I've always wanted to be fill in the blank. My mom in her 40s decided she always wanted to be a barber. So she went to barber school. It wasn't the easiest track for her, but she did it. She went to barber school and then she had her own shop. And it wasn't that she made a ton of money, but I was so proud to see this woman that we're talking at this point 30 years ago, was opening her own business and doing life the way she chose it to be. And I was so proud. And that's something I've always been proud of. It modeled to me that anything was possible. So it's no surprise that I've had my own businesses, that I've done all kinds of things because I've seen it done. So part of self-care then goes into self-love. You're worth it. You are worth having your nails done. You are worth a vacation. You are worth clothes that make you feel good. You know, I've known many people that they didn't, you know, they didn't buy new things, you know, because they said, well, I want to lose weight before I buy anything new. But they were uncomfortable in their clothes. If you're uncomfortable, you're going to keep attracting that discomfort. Honor your body right where it is. If you want to be healthier, great. But you've got to love yourself right where you are. That self-talk is the most important tool you have. So if it's been rambling in your head negative stuff, make sure that you're choosing what your thoughts are, that they're not the old thoughts that were given by somebody else. And I got in the messages, thank you, Lisa. You enjoy practicing the presence. Absolutely. Practicing the presence. And massages, of course. Absolutely. You know, it's doing what is honoring your body temple, what's honoring your mind, what's honoring you. Because when we have those three selves, we walk differently. It's when we start to realize it's whose we are. My good doesn't take away from anybody else's good. If anything, it models that good for others. When I see somebody that has something that I love, I don't think, oh, they have it and I don't. I think, oh, I want that. I note that to the universe. Because if someone has it, that means I can have it. There's not a limit on good. This is an abundant universe. We have infinite opportunities. And the blessing is, not everybody wants the same stuff. Not everybody's going to want to read the same book, take the same class, drive the same car. There's plenty to go around. And if you do not claim your good, it doesn't go to someone else. So it's about me remembering that, you know, you get that choice. Number 3 is believing in yourself. Now, some of us were blessed to have people in our lives that told us we were capable of anything. They told us that, you know, anything was possible. Think about the children in your life. Think about the people that you love. Maybe they're your children, maybe they're nieces or nephews, children that you absolutely love. And when you held them for the first time, you look at these children with infinite potential. You look at these babies and you think, the world is for them. And I'd do anything to help for that. When you really love a child, you see their potential. You see their possibilities. Remember somebody did that for you. Remember that somebody at some point held you that way. You are that child of divine. One of the things that helps me remember that, this is my baby picture. And I keep it on my altar. I'm right next to my husband's, which he kind of jokes about. But I keep it on my altar because this is that child within me that I'm now caring for. And when I am not taking care of myself, I remind myself that's who I'm nurturing. That's why it's important. So anything that I didn't get in the past, I can now choose to have now. And that's not about the stuff. It's about the love. It's the care. You know, you are your own best friend. You are your hero. It's not waiting for someone else to show up. It's waiting for you to wake up and recognize that potential within you. But you have to believe in yourself in order to do that. That is step 3, believe in you. You are a glorious individualized expression of divine. You can do anything. So set some goals. What is it that you want out of life? What are you choosing? Now, I look at it as this thing called life, this big mosaic. Everybody is different in so many ways. People look different, act different, different skills. It is just this grand mosaic of life. So knowing that, it's like a big puzzle. Now, if one piece of a puzzle is missing, you're kind of screwed. There's nothing you can do. You can never display that puzzle. It'll never be complete. It's not about finding two of the most bright, colorful ones and putting them in there. It needs every single one. Every individual piece makes it complete. You are that individualized expression that is perfect right as you are, but you have to recognize it. No one can do that for you. You don't need to be, a different shape, a different size, a different place in life. You have to know it. That's all you have to do. Be at peace with your peace. And when we are, that's when the amazing things happen. Life flows in a whole new way. So you just know that, you are enough now. It's not about becoming enough. You are. Setting those goals and walking through them, achieving them, and setting realistic goals and moving through. Number 4 is joy is the purpose of life. So what do you really want out of life? That light from within, what makes you shine? It's not about achievement. It's not about buying that new car and that'll make me happy. Yes, it will, but it also comes oftentimes with payments. And, it's not about just a thing. It's about, joy, that infinite expression. What brings light to your heart? A spring day after a long winter and the weather changes. Oh, there's just a different feeling in the air. People are nicer. Birds are singing. The flowers are starting to bloom. And life is just different. It's amazing. It's miraculous. You can be in that place with or without the spring day. It's a mindset. Where are you coming from? What are you choosing? Believing in you, and it gives you that opportunity to step forward in life boldly. So number 5 is trust your internal GPS, your personal guidance system, which is your emotions. Your emotions tell you if you're on the right track or not. Nobody wants to be sad. Nobody wants to be uncomfortable. But if you are, it's as valuable as anything because it's telling you where if you're unhappy, it means that something needs to change. Consider grief, sadness. Yes, grief happens. But the truth is, pain happens. Suffering is when it's optional. Suffering is when we stay there. So if we stay stuck, then we're going to clog up that good. But when we're in the flow of life, and we are moving along and we're not happy, that tells us it's time to seek an alternate route. It tells us, that's not where I want to go. I need to trust that. It's when if you're interviewing for different jobs and you walk into a place, it's important to remember that you're interviewing them as much as they're interviewing you. Are you going to be comfortable in that environment? And that was the one thing I remember when I was looking at colleges, thinking to myself, I can't picture myself living here and being happy. If there was a campus that I didn't feel like that about, I didn't apply to that school because it wasn't for me. In your gut what's going to make you happy or what isn't. That includes the people that you're around, but it includes everything. So trust that intuition, that divine connection, and know that when you're unhappy, that's strip. Time to move. Time to seek alternate route in some way. It's time for change. So trust it. Number 6, and I know I'm going through these really quickly. This is actually a workshop that I've given that is a day long. It's actually something that I've given as a class that is weeks long because there's so much to it. There's going into things like grief or loss. Sometimes things happen to us and it changes us. Nothing is the same. And you think, well, how do you get through that? There are sections in this book about that, and for those of you that it may have come in late, this book that I'm talking about is Your Journey to Happiness. It's the 10 steps in my book, Your Journey to Happiness. And, it's knowing that at any given point, you can just get back on. It's not starting over. We are never starting over again. Doesn't matter what loss might have occurred. It doesn't matter. There's plenty of people. I've lost a job that just devastated me because I thought I'd be there, and the way that it happened and all that stuff that I told myself about it. That was the story. It doesn't mean it was the truth, but it's how it felt. So do you stay stuck, or do you get back up again and move in the direction of what is meant for you? Because if there's a no, then there's a yes somewhere else. And sometimes that in-between part, sometimes that's hard, because that in-between is like being in the hallway of life. I love that analogy. I'm not quite engaged in anything yet, but I want to be. And sometimes that's the most important catalyst of recognizing our personal growth and being in that place of self-care, self-esteem, and self-love, nurturing ourselves so that we're in that right direction. And not that you can do it wrong, but some things feel better than others. So love yourself to that right path, to that right choice, and trust that Spirit is guiding. Connect, be in that place. So number 6 is, on that note, move away from fear with each step. Remember who and whose you are. You are stars wrapped up in skin. That's what you are. You are infinite potential. And sometimes when we're uncomfortable, it's because we may be stepping out of our comfort zone, which is where life begins. On the edge of your comfort zone is where life begins. So step out and step up and watch the miracles happen. You do the next right thing. I've heard fear called, face false evidence appearing real, face everything and run, or face everything and release. Release that fear. Let it go. Give it to Spirit. That's when we treat. That's when we use our tools. That's when we remember who and whose I am. And when I remember that, that's when I can shine again. That's when I can boldly step forward. And you do the next right thing. You don't look at the big picture. In 10 years, I'm going to have to do A, B, C, D. You just have today. What needs to be done now? Don't get overwhelmed with it all. Fear is something that is normal and natural. It's that part of us, the fight or flight. It is natural. But if it's not serving you, then you can control it. And there's a lot of people that feel that fear, and that's where things fall short. That's when all of a sudden, all those plans kind of get paused. So, what are some of the things that you have fear about? What are some of the things that's caused you to stop in your tracks? Some basic fears that I go through are, not getting what I want. What if if I don't have this job? What if I am not able to get another one? Which isn't true. There are jobs out there. And it's trusting Spirit. That's where faith comes in. It's walking our talk and doing the next right thing. Another fear is, what are other people going to think of me? What would my family think? What would my boss think if I did start a small business on my own? What if, what would I think? So my opinion of me, is there shame there? I'm not able, look what happened in the past. Is there shame or guilt or anything like that might be holding me back? Is it my opinion that I'm not enough or not good enough? Or did someone say it to me at some point and I believed them? Forgiveness is so important as we move through life. I had a conversation with someone this morning. Things that used to bother them don't anymore. They're just letting things go it's not worth it. It's not worth holding your life back. It's not worth your joy. So I've known many people that experience road rage, that, they're fine, and then they get in the car and all of a sudden they're swearing at people. My mom was like that. My mom would be, she wasn't even driving and she'd be swearing at people out the window. She'd get crazy. And I'm just grateful that that's not me, or at least it's not me today, that I'm not running, driving crazy. I'm trying to get there safely. And that's what I wish for them. May you get to your destination safely. And thank you that I am not crazed in that much of a hurry. I know I'll get there. and I know I'll get there in divine timing. So it's knowing yourself and really honoring you, okay, as opposed to letting the fears creep in, the what ifs. And the last one that I wanted to mention, another one is losing what I have. What if I lose my house, lose friends over it? What do people think? But the last one that really affected me in a lot of ways, and part of it was with the religion I was raised in, was a lot of guilt. What will God think of me? Not doing enough for spirit. Not being enough, or not doing enough, or not enough. That was one of my fears. And I didn't realize how often that played, that I should have already been somewhere, should have, would have, could have. And that was the one that I felt that most with spirit. I should have done more. And the truth is, I did the best I could every day. And I'm doing the best I can today. And that's all I ever have to do. One moment at a time. Trust that you did the best you could with what you had then, and so did they. Whoever the they is, let it go. Nobody is worth your joy. Nobody. Which brings us to number 7. And this is so important. Number 7 is seek help if you get stuck or stumble. And that's when you get stuck or stumble. Everybody at some point does. Whether that's from family, friends, a counselor, a minister, a life coach, a practitioner. Reach out to people and let them know. Because sometimes we're raised to think that we're supposed to have it all together. I don't even know what that means. It's truly about doing the best we can today. And if I am not moving forward for any reason, it's getting the help I need to be able to do that. We are not meant to live this life alone. We are meant to need each other. And it's not about dependency. It's simply, I help you, you help me. May I always see the divine in you. May you always see the divine in me and help me achieve that. And when we do, we both win. And that's what life is truly about. There are plenty of people out there to help. As a life coach, I've worked with many people many of them were very financially successful, even the top of their field, and their home life was a mess. Or vice versa, their home life was wonderful and they were happy, but financially just not. So it's getting to that place of being and not worrying about a mistake. I've had businesses that closed. Is it humbling? Sure, it is at times. But I had the guts to try. Brene Brown always talks about being in the arena, that quote about the arena. I love that. Because the truth is, plenty of people have a lot to say. But did they ever try on their own? Or are they just from the outside looking in? Be fearless. Know that you have so many resources around you. We're in a place in time, things have never looked like this. We've spent the better part of, at this point, 13, 14 months, we're now coming out of a pandemic. We're finally beginning to start life again. And it looks different because when we walk out the door, people are wearing masks. And innately, there's that thing of, should I be afraid? And the answer is no. It's doing what we need, it's wearing them to take care of ourselves. But it's not about fear. It's simply using a tool. We wear shoes so that we don't get anything we don't hurt our feet. It's just another tool. But if I put behind that there's something to hurt me, then I'm going to feel fear. Everything is just another tool of how we're choosing. So what are you choosing and how are you moving through life? It's a wonderful thing to have somebody to help with goals, to help you keep achieving. When we're in high school, we have guidance counselors. What makes us think that we turn 18 and we should have life together? It was a lot easier when we were younger. Yet all of a sudden, we're supposed to have it all together. What does that even mean? But we're taught that, or we're shown that, or somewhere along the line, we got that thought in our head. And we achieve more together. So reach out to somebody, no matter how you're feeling. If you're depressed, that's what other people are there for. Call a counselor. It takes more strength to ask for help than to be alone in the dark. It's truly about moving forward in life. And at any given moment, you can do that. You always have that power. And, if you're trying and you're wondering, I'm doing all the things they tell me to do, I'm doing my treatments, I'm doing my spiritual practices, I'm doing these things. There are a lot of people that are feeling stuck. Well, if those old tapes are still playing in the back of your mind, or there's some false belief that was always there that's still there, go see a practitioner. Talk to your minister. That might be it's about plucking out the weeds of doubt or fear. It's doing whatever needs to be done so that the appearance shows up differently in our life. And if it's not showing up, then try something different. Every morning that I'm praying with people on this network, I always say it. If what you're choosing isn't showing up, let us help. prayer@ntmedia.org is our prayer team. Let us help you. There are many practitioners that are out there. Look online, csl.org, and look for practitioners. If you know there's a local center, usually the practitioners are listed on their website. Reach out to someone. Trust that it's divinely guided, and find that person that's going to help you to see through the illusion and to see the truth of who you really are. We don't have any baggage about you. We only know truth as practitioners. So be in that truth. And if it takes someone else to help clear away some seeming blockages, then let it be. Have at it. Have at the life that you deserve, and not allowing anything to hold you back from that. So as we're moving through, I just want to say, if there's anything that I've said or anything that you want to ask questions about, reach out to me. It's Gina@believeinouttoday.com is my email. Reach out to me and let me know at any point. You can feel free, any of these steps that you may not have, that maybe you didn't quite understand, or something you wanted to just ask about. Or if you wanted a coaching session, talk to me for 20 minutes and see if that's something that's going to be for you. Whatever it may be, you get the opportunity to help yourself. So as we move through, number 8 is surrounding yourself with positive influences. So what are you watching? What are you listening to? What are you paying attention to? That's, what kind of music do you listen to? What kind of, the beauty of this network is it's all positive all the time. And that's a choice. And the irony is, as upbeat and positive and grateful as I am, I'm married to a man who is the epitome of opposite. It's like his attitude is almost like Eeyore, like, whatever, you took my tail. He's really you were complete opposites. Somehow it works, and that's not his thing. But he is very self-motivated. And we work together on all kinds of things. Not everyone is cut out for pure positivity. But if somebody that you're around is making you feel anything but good about yourself, that's not someone to be around. Sometimes that's not easy. If it's people that we love, if it's our family, sometimes it's parents that we're caring for, sometimes it's friends we've had for years. And you realize they really are negative. They really are miserable. You don't have to listen. And when you listen without boundaries, without those healthy boundaries, either you're going to lift them up and it's going to cause a whole lot of energy, or they're going to take you down. It's the way that it works. My dad used to say, you're not going to soar with the eagles if you're surrounded by turkeys. And there's nothing wrong with being a turkey, but if you want to soar like an eagle, they're not going to show you how. You want a happy marriage, talk to somebody who has a happy marriage, not someone that's divorced. And it doesn't mean that they don't have wonderful, joyous, plenty to offer. But love is a beautiful thing. And if I want to be in love and I want to make sure that I'm having a joyful existence. I want to talk to someone that has what I want. You know, if you are going to be looking at a new career, you want to get a mentor that's in that career. Ask questions. See how it is they did what they did. There's plenty of help out there. Find and surround yourself by what it is you choose to be and look like. What do you want your life to have? And it's not about better than, and it's not about getting rid of anything. It's simply about up-leveling and saying, okay, well, I want to have more like-minded friends. I want to go somewhere where I go is positive. I want to listen to something that's going to uplift me. I want to watch something that is going to show me the good in people. So it's not about all or nothing, but it is knowing that you get that choice of what your influences are. And, you know, part of that is yourselves. How is your self-esteem if somebody around you is always nagging at you and telling you what you can't do? How is that self-loving in any way? So it's being aware of your healthy boundaries. And if you're like me, you've never learned how to set them. So I encourage you to learn how. You know, what are the things that you surround yourself? What are your positive influences? What are the things in your life that you choose? If you can't put them in the chat, I'd love to hear. What are your self-caring ways? You know, it's about that. It's surrounding yourself in that light so you remain in the light. And when you're with people that have that light and get it, they're shining back at you. They remind you of truth. And part of those positive influences are your daily routines. What are your practices? Do you wake up with spirit? Do you wake up, you know, through this whole past year, we've been waking up in our center has a call Monday through Friday. And we wake up with meditation, visioning now, and we're also doing, we do what are we grateful for? And then we treat for what our prayer requests are. So if I'm waking up to the truth, a spiritual reading, we read the Science of Mind magazine, if I'm waking up to the truth, and I'm waking up with spirit, and I'm waking up with my spiritual community, I wake up grateful. I wake up in joy, optimistic, knowing what direction my sails are headed in. It's creating a balance in your life, the spiritual, the physical, and the emotional. It's like a three-legged stool, and if one is off, they are all off. If one of those legs is crooked or wobbly, the rest are not going to be, you can't sit on that stool. It's not going to be a comfortable stool to sit in. So it's looking at all the aspects of our life, spiritual, physical, and emotional. And that's where joy comes in and stays. That's where productivity is allowed. That's when we are living and thriving rather than just existing. Number 9 is to never lose focus. It is easy, so easy to procrastinate and fall off. I used to have a routine, and then I don't know what happened, but all of a sudden I was doing well and then I'm not. You know, maybe it was a healthy food plan that you were on and then you weren't. And you don't know what happened or when it happened, but it's not there now. So what do you do now? Well, you get back on track. It doesn't matter. You're choosing the track. That's the most important thing to remember. You're the one that's engaging. You're the one that's choosing to create the life that you want. The thoughts that you think, the actions that you take, the words that you speak, those are the things that are creating the life that you have. So you get that opportunity. So I encourage you to think about that. You know, what am I doing to make sure that I don't lose focus? And having a routine with journaling or reading positive messages. I also have a prayer partner. Those are the things that help me stay in that flow, because I do the same things. Some people have a gym routine or a fitness routine. Whatever works for you to keep yourself in the healthy space and self-care that you choose to. You know, I've had times that, you know, if you're very busy with work, you might have to, you know, do one night a week, you're preparing for many nights of dinner. It could be, okay, well, the weekends I have to make sure that either I'm cooking and putting it in the fridge, or I'm going grocery shopping so everything's in the house. It's preparing so that you've got a plan. That's part of not losing focus. It's not just writing out the goals. It's checking in with the goals. It's making sure, maybe meeting with a friend or a partner every week and saying, okay, these are the things that I want in life, short-term, mid-term, long-term goals. And this is what I'm doing this week, and action steps this. You can't do everything all at once, but you can certainly pick out a couple of action steps that are moving you towards what it is that you choose. So it's staying on that path. And should I fall off, it's not about getting aggravated with myself or saying, how could I did it again and it'll never. It's not about the negative self-talk. It's about being in this place right here, right now, and moving in the right direction. If you were driving in your car and you miss the exit, you don't say, I'm never going to make it. I'll just turn around and go home. You take the next exit, you turn around, and you get back to where you need to be. It's that simple. That's what life is in every moment. Seek an alternate route. If something didn't work, you go to the next thing. Whatever that is, it's not giving up on life or you. It just meant not yet. And the final step, and again, I am just glossing through, is be open to even greater dreams. Remember that you are your own hero. You are the one that you've been waiting for. You always get that opportunity to shine. It's never too late to be what you might have been. It is never too late to recognize the divine within you. That infinite possibility is what you are. Who and whose you are. You get that opportunity. But you have to be open to it. And you just be, okay, now what? This life is a journey, not a destination. And it's about enjoying every step of it. It's having that happily ever after. I have a daily, one of the tools that I use is journaling. But a lot of people that I've worked with didn't know how to journal. And they would say, well, what am I supposed to do? What does that look like? How do I, what am I supposed to write? And I created Your Journal to Happiness. And it is every morning, it takes about 10, 15 minutes and asks those questions. What are 3 things you're grateful for this morning? What happened yesterday that you don't want to forget? What's something good that happened? What do you want today? And it's not a things to do list where you write out 30 different things that aren't going to get accomplished because it's overwhelming. I always encourage people to get a Post-it note and decide that's what you use. Now, some people will use this size Post-it, and I have the little one here too. Some people I encourage just even smaller than that. The ones that are half the size, whatever it is. But a Post-it this size, you put a few things on that, and you take it with you. The things you want to get to. Now, the whole I should remember and how could I don't get into any of that anymore. I have an alarm that I use for my phone. That helps me to keep myself on track. So if I have to make phone calls tomorrow, and I may remember, I may not remember. So I put a reminder in my phone for a certain time, maybe at 10 a.m., 11 a.m., don't forget this. And at that time, if I haven't done it yet, I'll set the alarm for a few hours later, and that's when I'll use it. So find a way to keep yourself engaged in your day and the things to do, whatever they may be. And it's not about a list. It's simply about a few things that you may need to get to today. Or if it's something that you want to do this week, or it could be anything from affirmations that you want to remind yourself of your truth. It's important that we make the time for what's important. There's a lot of things that, well, I have to go to work, I have to do this, I have to do that. And that's important. Okay. But you're important too. And if there's things that are going by the wayside, and that is you, it's time to change our time and how we use it. I'd like to just let you know that this is available. Like I said, this is at Amazon. Can reach out to me as well. And what I'm going to be reading to you is actually a poem from this book, my Soul Purpose book, and it's called Engaging Life. This is the moment, the only one you get. This is the circumstance, the one you will never forget. Opportunity to decide to jump in. This is the beginning of the life you've wanted to win. This is the reason you were born and for which you live. This is the emotion, excitement, or trepidation. This is the place where you decided to start. This is the chosen path. Now live it as an art. You've decided to recognize your gifts. You've released the past. You forgive. You have believed that the best was yet to come. You now recognize that the battle has been won. You received the call, the reason for which you came. You've appreciated the past and realized there's nothing to blame. You know your purpose, at least the next right step. Life is unfolding, getting brighter with each step. Life is exploring the best within your traits. Life is enthusiastically looking forward to this day. Life is anxiously awaiting what you'll create. Life is exciting. Twists and turns are yours to choose. Life is breaking out and breaking through to all the good meant for you. Life is engaging, meeting, greeting, so much to do. Life is simply allowing life to live through you. So it's about allowing spirit to be that highest self, to be that allness that you're meant to be. And I also, in the back of the book, have a toolkit. We talk about things like love, peace, grace, health, balance. What does it mean? What does it look like? How do I use it? So that's in the back. But, it's a very simple guide to getting in and staying on that path that is your joy. No one else's, meant just for you. So again, if there's any questions on if you wanted to get a copy of the book, if there's a signed copy, if you have any questions or would like life coaching sessions or a practitioner session, know that I am here. I strongly encourage you, if you've heard anything here, please remember that New Thought Media Network is here for you. We are here and blessed to have, a network where we talk about the good. We bring the good news out there. And if you've been blessed, I encourage you to go to ntmedia.org or click the link where you looked at this and clicked on this today. There's a link that takes you to a donate. And donate, you just click that donate button and, give back. Allow that flow and circulation of good. So if there's anything that you have that you can give back, we appreciate it. Know that we are here because of what people like you give. And we have people that give monthly and set up for that. And there's other people that tithe just what they can when they can. But we are able to share the truth and the good news because of people like you. So please remember that. And as you go through your week, remember, that it is your journey to this. And it's not about anyone else. Trade those worries and regrets for your happily ever after. Good and bad things occur, and it's how we view them and what we do with them. For people talk about the term emotional maturity. I believed and I had heard all my life, that which doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And I have to say, I don't really believe that anymore. After having had, my mom, dad, and sister transition from cancer, between them with 11 bouts of it, I know it's not just about getting through, It's about how you get through. What's left of you? What are you and how are you living your life? It's not just about getting there. If a ship goes through goes through an awful storm, and at the end of the storm it's still afloat, that doesn't mean it is stronger for having gone through that storm. Sometimes surviving is literally, time passes and you get through. That doesn't mean that you're thriving. You deserve to thrive. Anything that you've been through in your life can help you to have a bigger and a better life. Sometimes there's things that need to be patched and addressed. They bring out your character in amazing ways. They show you how strong you are. But you have to honor it. You have to know that there are things in life that come up that we're not meant to go through alone. There are things that will come, and they do change us. My mom transitioned in July, and I spoke to my mom every day of my life. And I used to joke about it because, if I literally one day, and I was the prodigal daughter, like, is everything okay? She would be like devastated. And it has been, at this point, 9 months, and I think, I can't talk to her. Where it was every day. It's going to change me. It is going to, I have the ebbs and flows of emotions like everyone does. There's been so much loss this past year. And the truth of it is, does it change? Yes. But it's not about living in the past. There's days that I think about her and I laugh, and I think about all kinds of memories and how blessed that I was to have that kind of relationship. And then there's other days that I just feel sad. Well, it's not all day. Usually I have waves of that. And I reach out to someone and I tell them that. And I go through the wave of emotion. But I don't have to stay there. I honor it, but I don't have to stay stuck in it. Everything is a choice. And, some people were taught coping mechanisms and skills. Some weren't. You can be that tool for other people. You can be that gift. Remember that everyone needs someone. We are here to be here together. Remember that we are here AM and PM. It's 10:15 Eastern Time and 8:15 on Mountain Time. We're here to pray affirmative prayer and treatment. We know the truth and we speak it in the morning, in the evening. Join us. There are so many different things on this network. I encourage you. Saturday morning, Science, Mind, and Spirit, our lecture series. There's all different ministers. I host the Peace Circle on Monday evenings, which is 4 p.m. Mountain Time, 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Music, message, and meditation. It's being that peace, that catalyst of change that we choose to see in the world. It's not waiting for someone else to create it. But in order for me to help cultivate change in a positive way, I have to be there mentally. I have to choose it. So we've got a whole lot of things coming up this week. And next week I have guests that I'm very excited about from the Soul Collaborative. They're coming up next week. So the Soul Evolution Collaborative. And they'll be coming and joining us. So I encourage you, be here with us. And we will continue to, on that joyful journey. Be here and be in that place of expansion, in that place of gratitude to know who and whose you are. And we here at this network are here to help you do that in any way we can. So I wish you love, I wish you light and beauty. I am knowing your truth, and I am celebrating every aspect of the glorious you that you are. So thank you for being here with us. Thank you for knowing truth with us and being on that joy-filled journey. Blessings and love.